Welcome to this GCSE Science tutorial video on prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. For great GCSE Science content, be sure to subscribe and remember to check us out on TikTok, where we post GCSE Science videos daily. Cells are the fundamental building blocks of living organisms. There are two distinct cell types that you need to know about, and the first are prokaryotic cells that make up prokaryotic organisms. And these prokaryotic organisms are unicellular organisms, which means they're made up of only one cell. Prokaryotic organisms are either bacteria or archaea. Archaea are structurally similar to bacteria. However, archaea live in extreme conditions, such as environments that have very low oxygen levels. So therefore, archaea are known as extremophiles. Carrying on then, prokaryotic cells actually lack membrane-bound organelles. For example, prokaryotic cells have no nucleus, or mitochondria, or even chloroplasts for that matter. Also, the DNA in prokaryotic cells is not enclosed in a nucleus. As we said, they have no nucleus, so it floats instead in the cytoplasm. And as far as size goes, prokaryotic cells range in size from 0.2 to 2 micrometers. The other cell type you need to know about are eukaryotic cells. And eukaryotic cells make up eukaryotic organisms. Eukaryotic cells are mainly multicellular, except some which are unicellular. Some fungal cells are unicellular, for example yeast. And eukaryotic organisms include animals, plants, fungi, and protists. Eukaryotic cells also contain membrane-bound organelles. For example, a nucleus, mitochondria, and, in the case of plant cells, chloroplasts. And because eukaryotic cells contain a nucleus, the DNA is enclosed in a nucleus. And lastly, eukaryotic cells range in size from 5 micrometers to 100 micrometers. I will now describe in detail two types of eukaryotic cell, animal and plant cells, and also bacterial cells, a prokaryotic cell. Before we start describing animal cells, we just need to establish that the different parts of the cells have two names. They're either called organelles or subcellular structures. Here we have a diagram of a typical animal cell. Some organelles here you only need to know for A-level. We'll be covering the ones you need just for GCSE. First of all, we have the cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like liquid that contains the organelles. It is the site of most of the cell's chemical reactions. And here we have the mitochondrion, which is the site of aerobic respiration. Respiration provides the energy required to carry out life processes within the cell. These tiny structures are ribosomes, the site of protein synthesis in the cell. In the center here we have the nucleus, and it contains DNA arranged into chromosomes. Chromosomes are made up of short sections called genes, and genes are short sections of DNA. As for its function, the nucleus controls the activities of the cell. The genes code for the production of proteins that have a range of functions within an organism. For example, as enzymes, hormones, or antibodies. And lastly, we have the cell membrane, and it is a semi-permeable structure that controls what substances enter and exit the cell. For example, oxygen and glucose will enter the cell to be used for respiration, and carbon dioxide will exit the cell to be exhaled. Now for plant cells, and plant cells have the same organelles as animal cells, as well as 3 additional organelles that are found in plant cells only. The first of these additional organelles is the cell wall, made from cellulose, which strengthens the cell and provides support for the plant. The second organelle is the chloroplast, the site of photosynthesis. Chloroplasts contain a green pigment called chlorophyll that absorbs the light energy required for photosynthesis. And the third organelle is the permanent vacuole. The vacuole is filled with cell sap to keep the cell turgid. Cell sap is a weak solution of sugars and salts. And the word turgid simply means swollen. Moving on then to bacterial cells. Remember, bacterial cells do not contain a nucleus or membrane-bound organelles such as mitochondria or chloroplasts. Also, let's not forget that bacterial cells are prokaryotic cells. Appearing on your screen now is a diagram of a bacterial cell. Unique to bacterial cells is the single DNA loop. Found floating free in the cytoplasm, it is not inside a nucleus. Also unique to bacterial cells is plasmid DNA. These are additional small circular loops of DNA. Depending on the bacterial species, there can be one or multiple plasmids. Lastly, we have the flagellum. This organelle is a whip-like structure that enables bacterial cells to move towards nutrients. The plural of flagellum is flagella. I will now wrap up this video with a nice little bow on top by completing this table for you that will show which cell type has which organelles. A tick will state that the organelle is present, a cross if it is not present. Okay, so let's start with the first organelle, the cytoplasm. Present in animal cells, present in plant cells, and present in bacterial cells. The nucleus. Animal cells, yes, they do have nuclei. Plant cells also have nuclei. They're eukaryotic. Bacterial cells do not. The cell membrane, yes, animal cells have cell membranes. Plant cells also do. And bacterial cells also do. It's the same with ribosomes. Animal cells have ribosomes. Plant cells also have ribosomes, and so do bacterial cells. Now on to chloroplasts. Not present in animal cells, present in plant cells, and not present in bacterial cells. Mitochondria, present in animal cells, present in plant cells as well. It's going to give both of those a tick. And bacterial cells not present. The cell wall. Animal cells do not have a cell wall. Plant cells, on the other hand, do have a cell wall, and bacterial cells do have a cell wall. The vacuole now. Animal cells do not have a vacuole. Plant cells do have a vacuole. Bacterial cells do not. The flagellum, not present in animal cells. Give that a cross. Not present in plant cells either. Some species of bacterial cells do have them. Now for the size. Animal cells, 10 to around 30 micrometers. Plant cells, slightly larger range. Well, a lot larger actually, 10 to 100 micrometers. And bacterial cells, 0.5 to 5 micrometers. Well, we have now reached the end of this video on prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Thank you once again for choosing Genius Science. And remember to work hard, be kind, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.